This is the tune. So this black one.
This one?
Yeah, yeah. No. यही चाहिए ये भूल गया मैं.
Okay, okay.
I got everything I forgot.
अच्छा वायरिंग है तो
वायरिंग है सब कुछ है. यहाँ रख दीजिए फिर बाद में.
इसको सेट कर दूं.
ये हो गया बड़ा मैं उल्टा सेट कर दिया.
अच्छा अच्छा.
You can see it. Thank you bro. Sorry आपको ट्रबल दिया. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll do one round of chanting. Yeah? नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पश्चात्तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे फंक्शन आहे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Please everybody go to this bhajan, Vibhavari Sesha. Last week also we sang this. So every bhajan will sing for 3 weeks and then we'll change the new bhajan. Vibhavari Sesha. You can go to Google if you don't have it with you. Vibhavari Sesha. Hare Krishna. I'll give a couple of minutes. Some of you are finishing your round. So there were two parallel bhajans. That's okay. Thanks. Vibhavari Sesha Aloka Pravesha Nidra Vibhavari Sesha Aloka Pravesha Nidrachari Upajiva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Vibhavari Sesha Aloka Pravesha Nidrachari Upajiva Vibhavari Sesha Aloka Pravesha Nidrachari Upajiva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Narasimha Vamana Shri Madhusudana Brajendra Nandana Shama Narasimha Vamana Shri Madhusudana Brajendra Nandana Utana Dhatana Kaitava Satana Jaya Dasharati Rama Yashoda Purana Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Yashoda Purana Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priyajana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhara Ravana Pakara Makana Paskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajera Rakhala Gopa Vrindapala Chittahari Bhamsidhari Yogindra Bandhana Shri Nandanandana Brajajana Bhajahari नवीन नीरद रूप मनोहर मोहन बंसी बिहारी मोहन बंसी बिहारी यशोदनंदन कंसनिसूदन निकुंज रास विलासी कदम्ब कानन रसपरायण वृंदावन निवासी आनंदवर्धन प्रेम निकेतन तुलसरा जोजक गोपागनाथन चित्त विनोदन समस्त गुण गणधामा जमुना जीवन केलिसरायन मानस चंद्र चकोरा नाम सुधारस गाओ कृष्णा जस राखो वचन मन मोरा नाम सुधारस गाओ कृष्णा जस राखो नाम सुधारस गाओ कृष्णा जस राखो वचन मन मोरा विभवरी श्रेष्ठ आलोक प्रविष्ट निद्राचारी उठ जीवा बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी राम कृष्ण हरे जीवा हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Jai Radha Gopi Radha Gopi Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango, Nitai Gorango, Gaurahari. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaurahari. Pavana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय श्री निताय गौरांग भगवान स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय वीरांगस्य ज्ञानांजनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं वधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धुवृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो आनन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपः कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे वाचारं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्री गुरुदेवतारणं श्री परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सर्वाभ्यन्तरं शुचे श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा। It's better. Hare Krishna. We also have to increase the volume. No other choice. Are you all able to hear, or you want to come a little friend? So again. So I don't have to. Just come 3 feet to the front. Don't mind. A little close. What are they saying?
He told, I already have it from them. He can comment for me. But when I went to them, they told, if I get the information from this letter, I will not.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, let's see.
After the class, I will talk to them.
Or else give my number.
Best is give some other number. Yeah.
There is a new person on the gate. That's why I think he's taking care of all the.
Yeah. No. The thing is that this fellow has to speak to that person. So what we have to do, go there, from there call this person, give him the phone.
Okay.
Then issue is gone. Otherwise they just keep beating around the bush. Anyway, today's day is a little like Kurukshetra. We are reading Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is happening in Kurukshetra. And here also there is music going on. But anyway, Hare Krishna. Yes.
30.
Yeah.
30.
12:30? Yes, 12:30. So, last week we discussed the 12th verse. Natvayayam jatunasam, natvayaham jatunasam, natvam neme janadipa, na chaivana bhavishyamah sarve vaya ataparam. The meaning of this verse was, there was never a time you were not there, there was never a time I was not there. There will never be a time when you will not be there, there will never be a time that I will not be there. Right? And nor in the future any of us cease to be. Lord Krishna is very clearly telling. And I think we spent quite a good amount of time trying to understand how do we know that we are the soul, right? And we are eternal. That we should be very convinced, because these are the fundamentals of Bhagavad Gita. If we don't understand that we are not the soul, then we can't understand Bhagavad Gita. If somebody is thinking I am the body, then there's no point reading Bhagavad Gita. Because that's what Lord Krishna is clarifying in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita itself. Before he starts his instructions, that Arjuna, our entire discussion is going to stand on one principle, one most important information, that Aham Brahmasmi. You are not this body, you are the soul. And soul which doesn't have any death. There is no death for the soul. And we discussed on length last week. If some of you were not there, I recommend you to go and hear the class last week's class, where I gave a lot of examples. I think one example all of you remember. What is that? Gulab Jamun. What is the takeaway from the class? Gulab Jamun. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So now we'll go to the verse number 13. These are very important verses. So I want you to learn 2.11. You can circle it. 2.12, 2.13, 2.14. You can actually by heart them. The very important verse of Bhagavad Gita. Don't be hesitant to by heart them. It's very easy. You have to write down the verse and sing the verse. Don't read the verse. Right? Like the last word, Natveyaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarva vayam ata param. Like that you should sing. When you keep singing, throughout the day keep singing like 10-15 times. 14th time you remember that you are able to speak it without even seeing it. That is how people learn Sanskrit. Sanskrit is not language to mug up. Sanskrit is a language to sing. Bhagavad Gita, it's a song, right? So I'll also tell the meter. Meter means the tune for each verse. There are like 4 or 5 main tunes in Bhagavad Gita. This tune, that they also call as meter. So I'm going to tell you the next one. 13, verse number 13, 2.13. Please repeat after me. In the same sequence, in the same meter, you should repeat me. Okay? Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yavvanam jana. Kaumaram yavvanam jana. Tata dehantarah praptir. Tata dehantarah praptir. Dhiras tatra muhyati. Dhiras tatra muhyati. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yavvanam jara. Tata dehantarah praptir. Dhiras tatra muhyati. Hare Krishna. Please repeat the word after word. Dehina, of the embodied. Asmin, in this. Yatha, as. Dehe, in the body. Kaumaram, boyhood. Yavanam, youth. Jara, old age. Tata, similarly. Dehantara, of transference of the body. Prapti, achievement. Dhira, the sober. Tatra, thereupon. Na, never. Muhyati, is deluded. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please repeat after me. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Right? I'll read the purport first. Please everybody focus and hear the purport. Then we'll discuss. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there, does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old ones to new ones, thereby regenerating their energy. Such changes of body account of varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life or at existence. Cause of lamentation. Any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, the nature, is called a dhira, or a most. Such a man is never deluded by the change of bodies. The Mayavadi theory of the oneness of the spirit soul cannot be agreed on the ground that spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the supreme cleavable or changeable. Again, is the principle of the supreme souls being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the supreme exist eternally, sanatana, and are called shara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternally so, and even after liberation, the individual soul remains the same, fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul, which is present in each and every individual body and is known as the Paramatma. He is different from the individual living entity. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities, the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the Supreme Soul is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. They are not on the same level. As it will be apparent in the beginning of the fourth chapter, if Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then the relationship of instructor and instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are deluded by illusionary energy Maya, there is no need of one being the instructor and the other the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity Arjuna, who is a forgetful soul deluded by Maya. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, it's a very important verse of Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yuvaram jara tata dehantaras praptir dhiras tatra muyati. So, fundamental of Bhagavad Gita. How many bodies have we changed so far in this current body? Do you know that we are changing bodies even within the current body? Scientifically, it's proven. Every 7 years, all the cells in our body die, the new cells come. So, what is our body made of except cells? Nothing there. There's nothing else apart from cells. The same cells are like a bone, the same cells are like a flesh, the same cells are like blood, the same cells are hair, the same cells, they are manifesting in different. So which means if I'm 28 years old, I've changed 4 bodies already. Our complexion changes, our energy levels change, right? Our posture also changes. There is a reason why it is happening. Old age doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's a gradual process. Actually, from the day you take birth, the day of your death is starting to measure, right? The day you've taken birth, your death date is already written. And you're only heading towards death. You're becoming old. That's a bad news. Every birthday is actually a bad news, not a good news, right? With every birthday, we are going one day closer to death. So why do you say happy birthday? Marne wala jaldi happy birthday. Nahin na? We celebrate birthday, and we should celebrate birthday because we have taken a human birth. Kutton ka billion ka birthday nahi manate. We celebrate birthday of human beings because human beings are better than animals, right? Human beings are conscious. They can do something about the next birth. Animals can't do anything about the next birth. So for soul there is no birth. But this body has a start date and end date, right? So here Lord Krishna is beautifully in one single verse, he's told everything. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Our childhood, like all the small children, they are there, it's there a different body. Their body and our body is not same. It is not. And when they turn 7, 8, their body will gradually become another body. Yavana. Yavana means youth, right? And then Yavana will continue a certain period of time and then Jara. Jara means old age. Yeah. And if you misuse your body, then you can bring the Jara sooner also. That's up to us, like you work in some companies and you work during the night time when you're supposed to sleep. Then you can call the Jara jaldi aaja. Jara jaldi. Grey hair is an indication. Grey hair is an indication that your body is something, is happening in your body, that you are becoming older. Simple. ऐसे नहीं होता है. There is a reason. Don't think that water के वजह से हुआ. Ayurveda very clearly says everything is happening for a reason, right? बालों का झड़ना, skin becoming rough, and all these things. But we want to look like young, so we go to a beauty parlor, pay him whatever 5,000, 6,000. But you can't change the principle of Kaumaram Yavaram Jara. You can't change that. Inside you are old. Externally you are looking young. But you will suffer more and more. The more you try to make yourself young, identify with something that you are not, you will only suffer. Isn't it? It's very difficult to maintain like that. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm becoming old as a body, think that you are a soul. Then you'll always be happy, no? Okay? When you know that you are the soul, where is the question of old age? Where is the question of, old age or young age or anything? I am the soul. I don't have death. Yes, in this body, car kharab ho raha hai, car purana ho raha hai, to hone do. Right? What is the big deal? So that is why spiritually minded people are always very peaceful. This principle should be taught to youngsters also. How the anxiety will go away. Arjuna is in anxiety that I'm going to kill Bhishma, I'm going to kill Drona. Krishna cleared all his anxiety in one sentence. What are you going to kill? They are just bodies. They will get new bodies, by the way. And if they get new bodies, what is your problem? Nahi chahiye new bodies. You want to Bhishma to be like that only, old only forever? You'll get a new body. And by the way, because they are pure, because Bhishma is a Mahajan, he might even get a spiritual body, which doesn't have any age only. He might go back to the spiritual, we all have a spiritual body. The body that we have inside, the soul, we have a Swarupa, meaning our original spiritual matrix. Keanu Reeves, yeah? It's coming from the same concept actually. If you have not seen, you can see it once. Not for the action scenes, but the concept of material world and spiritual world. The director told, he borrowed it from Vedas, whereby the original person is sleeping like a battery in a factory somewhere, and through him the consciousness, the artificial body is going around. And I am thinking that I am this body, but my original person is sleeping somewhere. Right? And when that fellow says, you want the green pill or the red pill? The red pill will keep you in the same place. Green pill will make you spiritually conscious. Which one you want? So I think it's Neo. His name is Neo in Neo character. So he takes the green pill, and as soon as he swallows, then he says, now you have taken the decision, so I'll show you the truth. And when he shows him the truth, he becomes bewildered. It's a movie, with a lot of thought process put into it, whereby it shows that artificial intelligence will take us over one day. That's the concept. I'm not saying it will happen. It will never happen. Don't worry about that. But the concept is artificial intelligence will take you over, and they will use us as batteries. And our body will produce fuel for the battery, for the machines to work. Right? It's a crazy concept. So we are all put into some small pockets where we are producing energy, and through that energy, something. We have to be busy, otherwise we'll get up. What do? They create an environment called matrix. You're walking, but actually you are not what you are. Originally is there, but you think that there's this body and everything, and then you are just you're doing everything, but actually you are not the person here. You are somebody there. This concept I took from the Vedas. Similarly, there is one more English movie. Maybe this one you can watch with children also. Truman Show. How many of you seen that? Truman Show. It's Jim Carrey. And you can make a note. It's actually a very good movie, Truman Show. You can watch with your whole family. The concept is very simple. Same thing like, what Vedas have explained. Even that director told that I have taken this idea of Truman Show from Vedas. What is Truman Show? A person wants to make a TV serial. And he wants a TV serial with real people, not with actors. So he decides one person will be real in the TV serial. And what is that one person? So he makes a huge studio, huge, humongous. Just imagine entire Hyderabad city studio, right? Which can be seen from the planet. And he creates an artificial sky like a stadium, which has an end. And there is one boy who takes birth in that studio. And he's never told that it is a studio. So he's growing up. Right? And the show's name is Truman Show. And 24 hours, the world is watching the boy grow. Just imagine. The boy doesn't know that studio. Everything is same. Offices are there, buses are there, trains are there. Everything is going on. And he's told that you should not, he's artificially created a fear to not cross the water. Because his father meets with an accident. So that he will think, oh my God, if I go into water, if I go and take a boat, I'll die. So I will remain in the city only. Every time they show a map in the school to the child asks, where is Antarctica? The teacher will tell, Antarctica is there, but it is a useless place. We are happy in this city only. You're happy here only. The whole life the boy is told that you are here only. Right? But slowly he starts realizing there is something wrong. Something weird is happening. People are, like one time he and his wife has a fight, and his wife will go there and she'll tell, why don't we use this, why don't we eat this nice upma or something like that, or whatever, fries, and we'll be happy again. The way she says, he gets it out. Why are you speaking like you're advertising something? Because it's a show. Every actor is advertising something, right? So he starts getting doubts, and the traffic that he sees, the way it is working. At one point, he'll understand something is wrong. Everything is programmed around me. Something is wrong. And then he finds out slowly through a quest. And Jim Carrey is a great actor, and one of my favorite actors. He does comedy, but when he does serious role, it's in a different level. So it's unbelievable. Finally, he finds out, and the show person comes in front of him and says, "You can stay inside and be a hero." He says, I better go out and be my original me. I don't want to be in your studio. So he gets out of the studio at the end. The reason I told the whole story is because exactly that's happening in our material world right now. It's no different. We all think that we are here, but actually what is here is the artificial self in the spiritual world. We have refused to recognize that, and we are floating around in body after body, life after life, trying to fulfill our desires. And there is no end to these desires. Right? God has provided for everyone's need. God has provided for everyone's need. But even God cannot provide for one person's greed. He can't provide. Just challenge it. A greedy person, is there an end for his greed? There is no end for his greed. Our desires also, there is no end. So we are taking body after body after body. Every body is designed according to our karma and according to our desire. Whatever desires we have, it will be fulfilled. If somebody wants to be 7 feet tall, he will be 7 feet tall. You will get an next body. Simple thing. You want what is the fastest and the costliest car today? Cheapest thing you can ask from God. That's why Krishna kept Durga Mother. So all these people, when they come and ask all this, just fulfill them. So Durga is very happy. When somebody says, I want a villa in Tellapur, Tadastu. Mar ke paida ho, take a villa in Tellapur. Or you'll get a job. You'll get 200% hike. Le. Mar yahan pe. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshana darshan. Martere, paida hotere. Don't ask about Krishna, please. Because you will go and disturb Krishna. For a person like you, better suffer in this material world. Right? So he keeps on going. But suddenly, he will get a doubt. Why am I taking birth and why am I dying again and again? When that awakening comes, that is the beginning of human life. Till that time, we are four-legged animals. Two-legged animals. That's all. There is no difference. Whether a person, for example, you go to Tellapur, there is or you go to here, somewhere, Jayaviri villas, right? 25 crores is one villa. That fellow will come out and say, sir, this is your villa, This is my villa. He is no good than a pig. He is no good than a rat. He's no good than a peacock. He's no good than a worm in a stool. Because the only thing he knows is God. क्या मालूम उसको? आहार, निद्रा, भय, मैथुन। बच्चा पैदा करो, खाओ, सो, कुछ भी हो. You might be a graduate from ISB, gold medal from ISB, but he is no different than a pig. If he doesn't know that he's changing bodies. Are you all understanding with me? I have a lot of respect for all these degrees also, but I'm telling it bluntly to you so that the layer of ego is shattered. Because we all live with a layer of ego. बहुत ईगो है क्या मैं ये हूँ मैं नॉर्थ इंडियन हूँ मैं साउथ इंडियन हूँ मैं वेस्ट इंडियन हूँ मैं गोरा हूँ मैं काला हूँ मैं लंबा हूँ मैं छोटा हूँ राइट मैं मोटा हूँ मैं पतला हूँ मेरा फिगर अच्छा है मेरा कार अच्छा है मेरा घर बड़ा है बहुत ईगोस है अलग 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 मेरे को बहुत अकल है आई एम वेरी इंटेलिजेंट राइट एंड द बिगेस्ट ईगो इज मैं भगवान हूँ. That's another philosophy. मैं भगवान हूँ, right? तो तू यहाँ क्या कर रहा है? तो तू भगवान है क्या? मैं अभी माया में हूँ. हाँ तो माया is more powerful than भगवान? That they don't have an answer. They don't have an answer for that. मैं भगवान हूँ. I have to realize that I'm God. Right now I'm trying to become God. That's the biggest ego. That's why it's called false ego. The word false ego means when you think that you're God. True ego means when you know that you are a servant of Krishna. That is the difference between false ego and true ego. Mayavadi means a person who thinks Maya is greater than God. So he says, I am in Maya, that's the reason I forgot that I am God. God doesn't forget that he is God. God is God. When Krishna appeared as a small child situation, he divided the Yamuna and Vasudeva took him all the way to Gokul. Even in that small child situation, he went all the way up in the sky, Trinavarta. He killed that demon and threw him down on the ground. Even in that small child situation, he killed Putana, the great demoness who was 8 miles long. Right? He is not like, oh, chota bachcha hai to God chota hai. No, Krishna is Krishna. Whether he's small or big or he can do anything at any age because he doesn't age. Right? But we are individual souls. So what is the difference between us and Krishna? Qualitatively we are same. Quantitatively, we are Anu. He is Vibhu. We are limited quantitatively. Meaning, if you want to see the qualities of God, you can see your qualities and understand God also. That's why spirituality is science of self-realization. You can't understand God, so you can do self-realization. You can understand yourself. If you understand yourself, then you'll understand how great is God also. Right? I tell truth, but sometimes I tell truth. But God, all the time He tells truth. Right? I am very compassionate with others, but sometimes I'm compassionate. But God, all the time is compassionate, all compassionate. So if you want to test the quality of ocean, what do? You will take the entire ocean to laboratory? Is it possible? So what do? The quality of the drops is equal to the quality of ocean. Same way, if we test our quality, we'll understand the quality of God. Of course, right now I'm contaminated, I'm conditioned. But when I become pure, then my quality and God's quality is same. Now it's not. Definitely not mine, I can tell you that. So we have to become pure. We have to become sincere, loving, just like God is. Actually, the more close you go to Krishna, the more better person will become. The more time you spend in spiritual life, the more you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like that you chant, your consciousness changes. And then you can become a different person. There are Siddha Purushas who live in the Himalayas. Right? They are at a different level. They can connect with people. They can do things that we and you all cannot do. Siddhis. So there are subtle energies. There are subtle energies that you and we cannot understand. For example, a simple subtle energy. We also have certain subtle energy. For example, if a small child, infant child, the mother has just delivered an infant child. The mother is in block 1. The child is in block 4. If the child cries, the mother's breast will fill with milk. She'll immediately understand that my son needs milk. How is this possible? It's happening in front of us. It's energy. It's an energy that can't be explained by any science. Science can't go beyond a point. बच्चा वहां पे रो रहा है, मदर को यहाँ पे पेन हो रहा है. मतलब she understood that what to speak of block 1, block 4, America and India. Mother is there, child is in India, infant child, if he cries, the mother will know. She will know. Right? So much is there. Even for that matter, in CIA, this FBI, CIA, all that, they have this theory that never focus on a person's back neck. For example, Vamsi Prabhu is sitting here. Prabhuji, your name I forgot. Krishna Prabhu. If Krishna Prabhu looks at his neck for too long, this focuses after some. Because when they investigate criminals, when they're chasing them and all, they tell, don't look at his neck. He'll turn back. So it's there, there are so many subtle things which is beyond our understanding, but they're there. If these small subtle things are there, what to speak of Siddhis? And what to speak of when you chant Hare Krishna? Small mantra can change so many things. And what to speak of Hare Krishna mantra, right? Which is God's names and given by God himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and has given this mantra. Chant this Maha mantra and your consciousness will change. And God's names are potent. Nam Akare Bhuda Nidhi Sarva Shakti. Tatratipa Niyamita Smarane Nakare. Shakti is there inside each one of those names. Each one of my names I've invested my energies. So all you have to do is Ram, 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 Ram. Hanuman, why is he so powerful? Because God's name is so powerful. Because he chants God's names, he has that power. And he knows that. And he says, Ram, that your name is more powerful than you. It is more merciful and more accessible than that. So that's why I always tell, when you're coming to these classes, if you're not chanting God's names, you will not understand after a point. After a point, it will be like, because I'm discussing spiritual knowledge here, I'm not discussing material knowledge. Spiritual knowledge, right? Which requires blessings. You have to chant. Chant for some time. Fix your rounds. Now we have entered the second chapter, right? So try to at least reach 4 rounds. Can we all try? 4 rounds every day. कभी भी सुबह उठ के करो, नहीं हो रहा है शाम में करो, नहीं हो रहा है रात में करो, लेकिन करो. 4 राउंड, उसको कम मत करो. Continue that for some time, and then increase it. Like for example, today, before coming, I had chanted 15 rounds. So every time I do one round I pull. Just now we finished 1 round, so my 16 rounds are over. So मेरा आज का quota हो गया. But now, what does it mean? 16 rounds if I did, Acharyas are told, if you chant 16 rounds, your battery is full. Now you can call anybody, talk to anybody throughout the day. So I can face Maya. Not that I want to go and stand in front of Maya. But I have a spiritual energy which will protect me now. Right? So it's a promise that I have made to my Guru that throughout my life, till the time I'm alive, every day I will chant 16 rounds. Kuch bhi hone do. So I will do that. And that resolution will keep me in spiritual life. Spiritual life is all about taking resolutions which are beyond your comfort zone. You take that and your spiritual elevation will happen. Right? Taking tough resolutions, doing seva. Both of these things should go along with Bhagavad Gita. Then Bhagavad Gita scripture will go into our consciousness and it will change. Right? So this verse, Dainosmin Dekha Nahi, is chanted mostly whenever, I don't know, if you've seen somebody dying and an Antim Prayanam vehicle comes. They're like that, right? But a lot of people don't know the meaning of it. Huh? A lot of people don't know. So what is the verse saying? It is saying that you are going to change the body and exactly get another body. Now you don't know that you have changed from childhood to youth, from youth to old age. You don't even know, right? Did you get an alert that now you're old? Did you get an alert that now you're young? Nahin, na? And you change your body. So unknowingly you change your body. In the same way, at the time of death, unknowingly you will get another body. You will not even know. Now, how many had a dream yesterday night? You don't have to tell me the dream, but did you have a dream? Yeah? In that dream, did you forget your current body? Of course. Itna mushkil bhi nahi hai bhulna. You think that, I remember my son, I remember my husband. Some dreams I forget everybody. Then suddenly I get, mera bachcha bhi hai. Come back to my, original, right? Sometimes the dreams are so grasping and they completely shift your consciousness. So death is also like a dream only. You will just shift, you're dead, khatam, and your next body starts. But may not be an immediate thing. Beach mein thode logon ko milna padega. Some chief guests will come. If you are fortunate, Vishnudutas will come. If you are unfortunate, some beautiful Yamadutas will come. They'll show us some nice case will happen where you'll have to justify. Then they will decide what next body we have to get. Our next body is already decided, by the way. As per astrology, Surya Siddhanta, 10 bodies are already decided. Na? आप लोगों के, हम लोगों के. 10 bodies are already there. You want to know 10 bodies? किधर किधर है? 10 bodies also decided. Also decided. And astrology, that's the reason astrology it says, Rahu is here, Ketu is here. आप लोगों का ये हो रहा है, कल सब योग हो रहा है. You'll go through this, you'll go through that. There are stones, the planets. The planets don't suddenly come into your life. They're already traveling. When you are in your fifth body, that planet will come and then you will have effect on you. The planets are the ones which are sending their energies onto all of us. Why do you think sometimes we wear some stones? So that we can distract the planet and the energy not to come to us. It's like an obstacle between you getting it. But you can't avoid it. If not today, tomorrow it will come. In this life you will get it, but you can't avoid it. In next life, you will get it. If you try to avoid in this life. That's why intelligent people don't go to astrology for avoiding. But intelligent people can go to astrology for preparing. Mental preparation. For example, I will not tell you all, but I have been told a date after which I am going to go through more tough times. Which means what? What I should do then? Increase my rounds from 16 to 32. Simple. Right? I'll do 32 rounds. I'll do more chanting. I'll have more satsang. So that I'll become more spiritually conscious. So whatever comes, kuch farak nahi padega. So use astrology in spirituality is possible. But using astrology to avoid troubles is foolishness. Because if not now, it will again come. Your karma, every single cent you will pay. Usme ko doubt mat rakho. Every single cent you will pay. And you will receive also. For every little small good thing you have done, you will also get good karma. You will get it. And you have to accept it also. Right? If you have attended the SSR, I explained about the effects of karma. Good and bad. Good is you go to heaven. Bad is you go to hell. Good also is a problem. Why? You have to again come back to Doli Godi. Huh? Bad is also bad in a way. You have to go suffer there, again come back here. Then again you have to go through the whole cycle. You're not understanding. Why should I go to heaven and hell, Let me get out of the 14 planets itself. Let me go to a place where there is no death, there is no old age, there is no birth, right? And there is no disease. Let me go to that place. That is the point. And every heavenly planet has different things. At certain heavenly planets you don't have disease also. Like Brahma's planet, it's Siddhaloka. There is no disease. Even below some planets there is no disease. But death is there. Brahma Bhuna Loko Punaravartina Arjuna. Death is there in all the material world. Everybody has to die. Every single Devata also has to die. Devata is the role. Everybody who takes that role has to die. Even the person who is in sun right now, his name is Vivaswan. Mr. Vivaswan is sun god right now. So he also has a date. After that he will also die. Again, the new person will take that role. Understood? Everybody except Narayan, Lakshmi, and all the Vishnu avatars, Lord Shiva and Parvati, which are an expansion of Sankarshan coming from Lord Narayan. Everybody else will die, including Brahma. Brahma also will die. Right? But die and do what? Take another body. Right? A sober person, Dhirastatra Namuyati, he tends to Dhirastatra. A sober person will not be confused hearing this. Will not be bewildered hearing this. Arey Prabhuji, aise kaisa ho sakta hai? Ho raha hai already. You're already changing bodies without your knowledge. Exactly like this, you'll get the next body. So don't be bewildered, Arjuna. Don't be bewildered.
Asuras happened because of Amrita, and it says there is no death, but there is little possibility. So whoever devatas are there, who took
Amrit. Yeah.
So that says there is no death.
No death meaning they will have a long lifetime. Still there is death. Everybody has to die. Yeah, it's a long lifetime, which is as much as you're good. And Amrita will actually not allow you to get diseases. You'll not become old, right? But still, you death is there to everybody. Even Hanumanji. Hanumanji is what is he called? Chiranjeevi. Chiranjeevi means what? He lives for a long time. But at one time he also will change his body. But Hanumanji is an eternal associate of the Lord. He keeps traveling wherever Lord Ram is going. But Tattva is not God. He is not God. He is a servant of God. You should not mix God and his servant as same. Mayavadis, that's what they do. They say you will merge into God. Bhagwan ban jayenge. Pura bogus philosophy. There is no proof for this. Misunderstanding of scriptures. You are always the servant. He is always the head who will take the services from all the servants. Huh. Oh yes, your 10 bodies are there. 10 bodies equal to 10 cars. 10 cars are in a parking lot. You can perform bhakti and don't need to use any of the cars. You can go back to Krishna. That is the beauty of free will. There is destiny, there is free will. How many have heard the 9th session of SSR? Destiny, free will. Hai. Destiny says that you will get 10 bodies. Your free will you can change by making a decision that you don't have to get the 10 bodies. That is the beauty, na? But free will को निकाल के अगर बक्से में रख दिया, सुबह ऑफिस जा रहे हैं, रात को आ रहे हैं, खाना खा रहे हैं, सो रहे हैं, प्रॉपर्टी खरीद रहे हैं, बच्चों को देख रहे हैं, बीवी को देख रहे हैं, पति को देख रहे हैं, रिलेटिव्स को देख रहे हैं, फिर पैदा हो गए. You are going as per destiny. That's all it is. But while doing all that, while being a good husband, while being a good wife, while being a good son, you also decide that I don't want to take birth again. I want to perform the dharma, which will take me out of the cycle of birth and death. Then that is human intelligence. Any questions? Suddenly getting cold. I don't know why. Yeah. So they know finish this verse. Let's go to the next one. A very beautiful verse. You can even present in your offices as a seminar sometime. Text 14. Repeat after me. Again, sing with me. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Sitoshna sukha dukkada. Sitoshna sukha dukkada. Agama paino anityas. Agama paino anityas. Tam stitiksha bharata. Tam stitiksha bharata. Translation purport, please repeat after me. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O scion of Bharata, I'll read the purport, please focus. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate the non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha, January to February. It is very cold at that. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriyas, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up the platform of knowledge. Because by knowledge and devotion, one can liberate himself from the clutches of Maya, illusion. The two different names of address given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies his great blood relations from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. A great heritage brings responsibility in the matter of proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting. Hare Krishna. So the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance of the due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Skiyana Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. What does it mean? Spiritual people should not laugh. Spiritual people should not be happy. Spiritual people should not be sorrow. They should not cry. Something wrong happens. Lord Krishna is saying that the non-permanence appearance of happiness and distress. Happiness will come, distress will come. They'll come and go. Don't get affected. Stay fixed. That's what he's saying. Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada. Winter. Sita Ushna. Winter and summer. They come and go. Don't get affected by them. The same way, don't get affected by happiness and distress. Matara Sparsha Sukhvanta Sitoshna Sukha Agama Apanu Tam Titiksha Bharata. Titiksha means don't get disturbed. Right? Don't get disturbed. So what does it mean? How do you apply this in real life? बोलने को तो अच्छा है. Very simple. When you understand the karma siddhanta, that there is good karma, there is bad karma. When you're going through some tough times, that means bad karma is coming to you. Right? And when you're going through jolly good times, good karma is coming to you. Right? So when you should be happy, when good karma is coming or bad karma is coming? See, when bad karma is burning, it's a good news, no? Bad karma is going off. When good karma is coming, is it a bad news? It's a bad news. Mera good karma khatam ho raha hai. How do you look at things? What is the way to look at things? Just understand that both these are just your karma. Tomorrow morning you got a promotion. Kya ho gaya? Good karma, bad karma? Good karma, but you have to work 2 more hours extra. Bad karma. Tomorrow morning you become manager. Good karma, bad karma? Good karma. What is the bad karma? Now somebody else doesn't work, you will get taunting. Bad karma. So, how do you understand good karma, bad karma? There is nothing called good karma, bad karma. Both are tera karam. Because both of these are binding me and keeping me here. Both of these are binding me and keeping me here. So don't get affected by that. When you get too much, suddenly some property came, some very good thing happened. Yeah, my good karma is coming. And you be happy. Be happy. But don't be extraordinarily happy. Don't get attached to that. Because what will happen tomorrow when you lose it? Then you will be so much in pain. So much in pain. That was never yours. Right? That was never yours. See, in the young age, a boy gets attracted to a girl, or a girl gets attracted to a boy. And they fall in love. They exchange gifts. They do all that, whatever, songs. Then the girl will tell one day that boy, I'm not interested in you anymore. That fellow will become Devdas. Right? This girl will go to her house. She'll find another neighbor. Mukesh has a very famous song. Tum agar mujhko na... बात नहीं तुम किसी और को चाहोगी मुश्किल होगी. Right? गाने भी आ जाते हैं. Suddenly Mukesh cassettes will sell like anything. Once when I was young, I used to hear a lot of Mukesh songs. Mukesh and Kishore Kumar. Cassette पे कैसेट भरे थे. So I went and asked, कुछ और भी है? मतलब कोई दुख है तेरे को? पापा लोग, कुछ you're going through some problem or what? नहीं अच्छा लगा मेरे को. ठीक है लेके जाओ. ये पूरे गाने तेरे को काम आएंगे कोई ना कोई. These days songs there is no meaning, but those days even in songs there was so much meaning. Even Kishore Kumar songs, even now, sometimes you can relate to them. So the attraction of boy and girl is so much, it creates attachment, right? In 2 months, that girl left that boy and the boy is thinking in balcony, I'll end my life is waste now. Right? Arey, fool, your parents are loving you for the last 22 years. For them, you never felt like that. For them, there is no feeling of, you will shout at your mother and come and sit in the balcony also. But that girl, she came and gave you one glance, you fell for her, and now she's gone, you're deciding to live your life also. Just imagine what is infatuation. So that is how it works. You get attached. Attachment is very bad. Don't get attached to anything in the material world. Does it mean you should not be happy? You should be happy. But don't be attached. If you get attached, then you are putting conditions for being happy. And you will suffer. For example, you have a job in a big company now, Amazon. Well, फेंक दे बार क्या करोगे? No problem. Sunday morning आओ क्लास में. क्या कर रहे हैं? Right? अगर और भी प्रॉब्लम हो गया, पैसे भी खत्म हो गए, तब क्या करोगे? 3 bedroom से 1 bedroom में चले जाएंगे. Simple है, right? And because you know my bad karma is going on, and suddenly good karma will come. Suddenly good karma will come. Again you will get some other big job, some technology. Again you'll go to 3 bedroom house. So there is no happiness in 3 bedroom house. There is no happiness in 1 bedroom house. Happiness is your state of consciousness. That's all. There is no meaning. Fools get attached to square feet. Only fools get attached to square feet. Ramsey bro is enjoying it. I don't know. What to tell? Square feet. Square yards, right? Kitna square yard hai? Kitna square feet hai? Fools get attached to square feet and square yard. What we get attached to? Devotees. How many devotees are there? Right? Last Friday, right, we had a satsang of Nityanand Prayasashi. The hall must be, kitna hoga iske jagah ka? Is the hall of their house, or maybe 1/4 if I'm not exaggerating. Can you tell me how many people are sitting in that hall? 1/4 of this place is how much square feet? So maybe this might be like around 1800 square feet. So if you divide it by 4, it should be around 450. In 450 square feet, 110 people are sitting. 110 people. And for how long? 3 ghanta. The one fellow was torturing them for 3 ghanta. That is me. Uncompromisingly. I told him. Also, 10 baje tak bitana hai. But nobody was feeling unhappy. Really, they are not feeling unhappy. They're doing bhajans, Koda Nitaya. They're dancing in that position. They can barely sit. Some devotees are sitting like this. 3 hours they sat like that because they can't move. Somebody sitting here, somebody sitting here. And in that also they're happy. Hare Krishna bro, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Space doesn't determine happiness. It's a state of consciousness that determines happiness. A poor person can be happy. A rich person can be unhappy. A poor person can be unhappy. Live life king size. Matlab kya? Not smoke. Live like king size. Just understand that you are the soul. And be connected to planet.
Yes.
Did I tell him this satsang? I'll take 5 minutes and tell you. Consciousness. Me and my father, we were waiting for a friend in a slum area. It was a slum area. I'll quickly go through the story. It takes a long time. I get really pleasure out of sharing this. That person, right? I mean, me and my father were in the car. We were chanting our rounds. We were waiting for a guest to come. It was a slum area. And opposite to us, there was a small house, row houses, not like villas. Just slum row houses, you know, right? There'll be a door. One person, there was a tulsi plant kept outside the door. I was looking at tulsi plant. Wow, so nicely it's being maintained. I was chanting. One person comes out with the japamala from the slum house. He comes out with chanting bag. And apparently he sees my chanting bag also. My father's chanting bag. So I was keeping it down. My father chants like this. He used to chant like this. So, oh, Prabhuji, your devotees, you come near my house. Please come to my house. Please come to my house. Like, to heck on, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. I'm in the car. You are calling. We are chanting. You are also devotee. They called us. And hesitantly I told, we have to go. आइए 2 मिनट आइए हमारे घर के सामने तक है भक्त लोग हमारे घर के सामने हैं हमारे घर में आएंगे तो कैसा होगा. See, look at his consciousness. He doesn't know me. He thinks that I'm a devotee. So I'm okay. Chanting में पकड़ा है तिलक लगा दिया है तो शायद सोच रहा है devotee है. So he took me inside his house. Me and my father went, and the entire house is like barely 10 feet by 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet. That's the hall, and the kitchen is 3 feet by 6 feet. That's the kitchen. Barely can stand inside that. We went inside. And inside the house, there is this chair on which he kept his guru's paduka. Right? And Radha Krishna picture on the top. And that's his altar. That's where he does his puja. I can see agarbatti there and everything. And then he told his wife, कुछ बनाओ, भक्त लोग आए, भोग लगाओ, खिलाओ. अरे मैं बोला प्रभु जी अब जा रहे हैं हम लोग यहाँ से. नहीं आप ठहरो, भक्त लोग घर आके कैसे जाएंगे? I was wondering his heart, what kind of person is he? And he told his wife, and his wife went within 2 minutes. Mystically she made upma. I don't know how she went. She brought that upma, she offered it to Guru, and then Gauranga, offering ho gaya. She gave that, and chota plate mein thoda upma. I'm having upma. I didn't even dream. Right? I'm sitting where I don't know where I'm sitting. And then I asked him, प्रभु जी यहाँ आप लोग कब से रहते हैं? हम लोग तो बहुत पहले से यहाँ पे रहते हैं. और यहाँ पे हम लोगों का कथा होता है. टोले हम लोग कथा होता है. क्या कथा होता है? तो हर सुबह हमारा भागवतम क्लास होता है यहाँ पे. सही? कौन सा टाइम? I went at 9:30. So every day morning 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock they have a class like this in their house. Can you imagine? In that little place, 10-15 people sit and they discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And then he told every morning one cow comes to his house. Every morning the cow just walks and comes into his house, and they feed her some roti, and the cow goes out. Every morning, right? And every evening he told from 5:30 onwards till 8 o'clock we have bhajan and Bhagavad Gita discussion every day. I asked him, where do you work? So he showed me his auto. He's an auto driver. He stays in the slum. The auto is kept a little away from the house, right? And the auto has all Krishna's pictures inside, everywhere. Anybody who sits here will just only see Krishna around, right? And then he has a small box of Bhagavad Gitas in small books. So while he's driving the auto, he'll try to preach that person. If he's interested, he'll sell him a Bhagavad Gita also. So he has a target. Every month I'll sell these many Bhagavad Gitas. And his wife will make him lunch for afternoon. He'll leave from home at 10 o'clock, have his lunch, and only this much. And whatever you want to give, you give me that. During this time, whatever I earn is whatever I earn. So if it's that money, daily money, right? Auto driver means daily money. So he runs his life. And 5 o'clock to 8:30 is bhajan, dance. Every day they dance. अब बताओ खुशी किधर है? Is Krishna in block 1501 or Krishna in that slum house? बताओ. Where is Krishna? Krishna is with a person who loves him, who depends on him. Right? Bhakti is a very advanced concept. It can't be understood with ego or pride sitting inside. Right? There is one person in Ambarpet. He is a security guard. You know how much a security guard gets paid? 9,000, 10,000 rupees a month. He does a Rath Yatra in Ambarpet. What he does, he has a rickshaw. He bought a rickshaw. And in that rickshaw, he'll keep Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and he will buy puffed rice. Puffed rice comes so cheap, no? Then he adds some groundnuts and this and that, he puts some masala, makes this puffed rice, he keeps it on the rickshaw. His wife is sitting on the rickshaw. I don't know how he does that. But he is pushing the rickshaw, he is doing bhajan, and the rickshaw goes to all the streets, and Jagannath has come, oh, prasad lo. He gives that puffed rice every Ekadashi. Husband, wife, children are so happy doing it. He is a security guard. He is connected to Krishna. When I met him, and you know how much his height? Maybe he's 5 feet 1 inch or something. Very lean, very thin. I don't know what security he does. But he's so happy. He's so happy in life. That person can understand Bhagavad Gita. A person sitting in big house with ego cannot understand. But if a person sitting in big house has a heart of that auto driver, can understand Bhagavad Gita. For understanding Bhagavad Gita, you need to have a humble heart. Right? We need to be respectful to everyone. Look at that person. He called me inside his house. He gave me a breakfast, prashadam. And then he was like, Prabhuji, fir aayenge hamare ghar ko. And Sunday doesn't work, by the way. Sunday is off. What does he do on his off? He goes to Maratpalli, West Maratpalli. There is a temple in West Maratpalli. Morning 4 o'clock se lekar raat ke 9 baje tak he is in the temple serving his guru. Narayan Maharaj, his guru stays there. What a life. And they have no other program. Right? So this is called spiritual. And I've seen many people like that. In Vrindavan, you see some Matajis, in the retired age, they go there and they live there. They don't have any money. They just do bhajan. That's all. Right? So we have to develop a Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. With love and devotion you chant. And then you'll understand Bhagavad. And you will not be afraid of death. You will not be afraid of death. Death will be afraid of you. I don't care. Whenever I die, I am connected to Krishna. Right? And in our society, in our ISKCON society, we have seen so many Matajis, Prabhujis dying in front of everybody without a single tinge of fear. Single tinge of fear. They're like, okay, Prabhujis, there is one Mataji. She recently passed in Detroit. She literally, seconds before she died, she folded her hands. She looked at the devotees. Barely, you can't imagine when you're dying how your body is. Thank you very much. And she turned towards her Guru. Thank you very much. Turned towards all the other devotees. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming and chanting for me. And she left her body. Within few seconds. It's all recorded. You can't do that. It's not movie. It's not Bazigar movie where Shah Rukh Khan is dying. That's acting. This is real life. She's leaving her body. You know how much fear people have when they leave their body? Fear of losing what they have. Fear of losing your children. Fear of losing your parents. Fear of losing everything that you know. And more importantly, the fear of going, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. That's a very fearful situation. And that fear is removed when you become a devotee. Neha vikate mahato bhayat. Krishna is saying, little bit understand my knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. You can transcend death. You'll not be scared. Right? But doesn't mean that devotees are not sentimental. Devotees cry very easily because their heart is so fragile. They laugh also very easily because their heart is so happy and fulfilled. Doesn't mean they get affected. Right? So, here it's being told, tolerate happiness, tolerate distress. Both are temporary. Both will go away. Happiness also doesn't remain forever. And the good news is, misery also doesn't remain forever. Right? You're going through the toughest time, just tolerate. Text 15. Yam hina vyathayanti ete Purusharshabha Samadukha Sukham Dhiram So Amrita Tvaya Kalpate. Yeah, repeat after me. Oh, best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Right? He's just insisting more on this. Purport. Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced age of spiritual realization can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashrama institution, the fourth stage of life, namely renounced order, sannyasa, is a painstaking situation. But one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyasa order of life to sever family relationships to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able, relation is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duty as Kshatriya, he is advised to persevere even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved persons. Lord Chaitanya took sannyasa at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet, for a higher cause, he took sannyas and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. This is the way of achieving liberation from material bondage. Hare Krishna. So, same thing is being mentioned. Don't be hesitant to discharge your duties. Stay detached. When you should start preparing for retirement? When you should start preparing for retirement? Huh? When studying, right? When you are studying, are you preparing for your job? When you should prepare for your retirement? When you are joining the job. While you are doing the job, prepare for retirement, right? Then you'll be very peaceful. I am going to work until this time for money. I will work after this time not for money, for God. I'm also going to work for money and also use that money for God. That is also okay. But at some point in time, we should be detached from acquiring and accumulating more. That's a very bad situation. Spiritual people, first 25 years, they spend for knowledge and austerity. They learn knowledge, austerity, brahmacharya, ashram. Both brahmacharis, girl or boy. They have to learn to acquire knowledge and become very fixed. Next 22 years, next 25 years, 25 to 15, we should invest in expanding the house, expanding properties, expanding wealth. At the same time, start preparing for retirement. At the age of 50, handover. Start the handover. It is start the handover process. Don't keep properties in your name after 50. Otherwise, you'll die and become a snake in the property. Going around the property like a kutta. Kutta ghumte rehta hai na? Who is that? Owner of that property in previous life. He was so attached. These days, people keep properties until they are 80 years old also. Very dangerous for your spiritual life. This is more for spiritual life. Materialistic people, they will not keep property until they die only. वो मरने के बाद भी बच्चों को आएगा, है कि नहीं? Until they are alive, the children will go there. That they will not do. So attached to property, so attached to everything. Well, hold on to all that. Then, actually, the prayer of the house will be a Buddha kam marega. Jab marega, then the property. One of my friends, their kids get married very early, right? So when his father was like 18 or 19, he got married. So when my friend is the eldest son, and my friend has become a grandfather, his father is still 65. And he's refusing to retire. And my friend is already in his close to 45 plus. And ये भी अपने बच्चे का शादी जल्दी कर दिया. उसका already बच्चा हो गया. Fourth generation and the top generation is still 65. He is not willing to retire. And he's like, Papa, we have to take some decisions now. मैं हूँ ना, but they do सब कुछ. No independence. Just imagine how the house will be. You have to let go. After some time, you do anything you want to do with this property. No problem. In earlier days, people used to give a property to the temple and go settle in the temple. They used to stay in the temple, they used to live in the temple, they used to serve in the temple. Use all your talent, managerial abilities for serving the temple. Expanding a temple. In what way? Give preaching knowledge. जो मैं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, you all have to do. And that is a society will revive. One person sitting here will not change anything. Like that, there has to be a satsang in every complex. And who has to do that satsang? Not me. People who are old, they should do that because you have knowledge, you have realizations. आप लोगों को अनुभूति भी है. मेरे को क्या है? I don't have any experience. Right? I'm still learning. But you all have experience. So, Varishta Vaishnavas, after 50, you have no other business but to preach. And depend more on God and set an example for next generation. Your son comes and tells, Papa, pura loss ho gaya. What will you answer me? Beta, Sita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha. Don't worry. Both are temporary. Don't worry. Things will fall into place. And by the way, you are already 45. There are 5 साल काम करना है. उसके बाद बेटे को दे दे. Just imagine how peaceful that house will be. But now what are the old people doing? Don't mind me saying, but in general I'm speaking. वो आदमी 80 साल का हो गया, अभी बेटे को बोल रहा काम कर अपने को वो कंपाउंड वॉल बनाना है. कंपाउंड वॉल कौन बनाएगा? ना बुढ़ा मरेगा ना उसको जिंदा रहने देगा. That is problem. You are too attached with your properties. 4 लोग जाके गार्डन में बैठते हैं वहां पे. क्या प्रभु जी, भगवान प्रभु क्या बात करते हैं? 4 लोग बुढ़े वहां बैठ के, तेरा फ्लैट का स्क्वायर फीट कितना है, उसका वैल्यू कितना है? अच्छा 9,000. नहीं 10,000. मुंह खोले तो दांत भी गिर गया. 10,000. ये चल रहा है. They'll not be happy. They're in anxiety.
When they die, they'll come back here like snakes and lizards and मेरा फ्लैट मेरा फ्लैट मेरा फ्लैट. कृष्णा बोलते लोग तेरे फ्लैट में चिपक के रहे तू, चिपक के दीवार को चिपक के रहे. दीवार को चिपक के क्या रहता है? Lizard. So next time look at lizard. दादाजी आगे वापस. यही होता है. You're too attached to your body. That's what happens. You get a birth exactly that place, according to your desire. Hare Krishna. Nashato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubhayor api drishto antas, vi anyos tattvadarshibhi. Repeat after me. Those who are seers of truth have concluded that of the non-existent material body there is no endurance, and of the eternal soul, eternal the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Very simple. He's saying the body will not last forever and the soul will last forever. These people have understood by studying the both. Like we are all studying, right? Through chanting, you are able to experience your soul, your consciousness. Krishna is telling that learned people go like this. Purport. Please focus. There is no endurance of the changing body. That the body is changing even every moment by the actions and reactions of different cells is admitted by the modern medical science. And the soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and mind. That is the difference between the matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing, the soul is eternal. The conclusion is established by all seers, all class of seers of the truth, both the impersonalist and personalist. In the Vishnu Puran 2.12.38, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes are all self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotishmi Vishnur, Bhuvani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existent refer to only to spirit and matter. That is the version of the seers of the truth. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Nor removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of Supreme by thorough study of oneself. The difference between oneself and the Supreme being understood as the relationship between part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras, as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by the superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entities belong to the superior nature, as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as a supreme, and the energy or nature is accepted as a subordinate. The living entities, therefore, are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as is the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. Or to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. Right? The same thing is being repeated by Prabhupada in the purports again. That, what is the time? 10. Okay, we'll stop. So, same thing is being told by Prabhupada that God is eternal, we are also eternal, but we are not God. Don't mistake. We are always the servitors, and he is the person taking the service. Right? Even when we go back to Krishna, still in the spiritual world also we are the servitors. We remain the servitors. Three things that are always eternal. Right? Ishvara, Jiva, and Bhakti. Bhakta, Bhakti, and Ishvara. Three things are always eternal. He is always the Ishvara, the accepting of service. You are always the Bhakta. After you go back to Krishna, what will you do? You chant Hare Krishna. While you are away from Krishna, what will you do? You chant Hare Krishna. Simple. Wherever you are always the servant of God. And you are happy being a servant of God. How many here want to become God? Can you handle being a God? You can't. You can't, right? See, till the time, before you get married, who is God? I am God. Like, I am the center of the world. Everything about me only. Everything about me only. Then you get married. Who becomes center of the world? Your wife. She is the center of the world. Or your husband. He is the center of the world. Right? Spouse. Then bacha paida hua. Then who is the center of the world? Bacha. Everything is revolving around. है कि नहीं? Can I go anywhere? Can I do this? Should we go this Sunday? नहीं. बच्चे उतना सुबह नहीं उठेंगे. Right? Can we go to that place? नहीं उतना देर बच्चे नहीं रहेंगे. है कि नहीं? Everything, your children become center of the world. See how the center is changing. From you to your spouse to your children. And then what is the next center? Old age. Huh? Grandchildren, another center. Centers. Right? And then your old age becomes the center. आप हमारे घर आएंगे कौन से फ्लोर में? अब तक क्या बोल रहे थे? कहाँ पे? अब क्या पूछोगे? कौन से फ्लोर में? लिफ्ट है क्या? आएंगे. Your health becomes the center of the world. The center is changing all the time. Whereas if you keep the center as your soul, then you are peaceful. When you are young also, old also, at any stage also. Right? So Krishna is saying that we are part of God and we will eternally remain part of God. About soul, another 10 verses, it's called Sankhya Yoga, as I told. Right? We'll go a little fast in the next class, trying to focus on the essence of each one of the verses. Basically, the essence is we are the soul. And Krishna explains more and more details about the soul. The qualities of soul also he'll speak. The qualities of soul. Okay. Any questions? Huh? 81. Somebody said Prashad and Mataji. Yeah. 81 में कहाँ पे माताजी? हाँ. Last paragraph. हाँ. Does it what? What's example? I'm not able to hear you well. Sorry.
Becoming lizard. And you mentioned that if I
Oh, becoming some other body. Yes. You go to 14th chapter. Pura detail. Who will go to animal kingdom among us? Who will go to better other bodies? What are the qualities that determine that? All detail is there. Yes. He is saying here that they will get a superior body because Bhishma was a very pious person and a devotee also. But if he doesn't perfect his devotion, he will go to heaven. But if he perfects his devotion, he will go beyond heaven. He will go directly back to Krishna. And there is no birth and death there. Like that. So being very charitable and good is good, but sometimes there is danger also. What is the danger? फिर वापस आओगे. मल्ली रावल. Again you have to come back. Right? So does it mean we should not be charitable? No, we should be charitable. We should be serving, but don't aim for Swarga. Aim for, somebody says, servant of Krishna. Vaikunth जाके क्या करना है? लुंगी पहन के कॉफी नहीं पीना है. वहां आप जाके क्या करना है? सेवा करना है. Right? Never ask for happiness without God. Ask for happiness with God. What is the difference between lust and love? Lust means to enjoy without God. Love means to enjoy with God. Simple. As simple as that. Enjoy with God. Any other questions? Are you okay with this? A lot of the section right now is very technical section. Sankhya, I don't like these verses personally. What they go into soul understanding and all that. So I'm trying to make it a little understanding for you. I did Gulab Jamun also. And this week I ordered Gulab Jamun also. So you can experience soul. Are we good? Okay, next week we will have it on Saturday. How many are okay for Saturday? Can you lift your hand? Okay, if you have a job on Saturday, you can resign. Okay, and you come on Saturday. Monday you can take the resignation back. That provision is there. Okay, but please come on Saturday and attend the session. And then I will be gone for 2 weeks. The next Sunday I will not be there. So we'll have the next session after 26th. So whatever work you have to do for 2023, finish it in the next weekend. Call all your relatives, feed them nicely, so they don't come again. खत्म करो सब कुछ. जिसका भी शादी करना है, कराना है, कौन से वीकेंड में करने का? 19th March, 19th February, very auspicious day. सभी का शादी करा दो. और बोलो जिसको मरना है उस दिन मर जाए. तो उसी दिन देख के आ जाना. ठीक है? लेकिन उसके बाद क्लास मिस मत करना. Please forgive me for my bad sense of humor. कौन गाएगा नर्सिंग आरती? अभी तो कोई तो गाना चाहिए. कोई बच्चे हैं गाएंगे? Any children? Any adults? माता जी गाएंगे? I'm asking you. You? Nursin? चलो गाओ. You want me to keep the screen? You can use your mobile. Atiji, you can come here. Every week, one person can sing Nursing Aarti. Is that a good idea? Huh? This was not planned. Adi, इधर आ जाइए उसको. Don't mind. Yeah. Can you sing once? Say Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Narasimhamadim Sharanam Narasimhamadim Sharanam Tavakar Kamalavare Nagma Adhuta Shinga Alita Niyakashipo Anubrinda Ikavadita Naharirupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
निताय गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। भक्ति भक्ति विघ्ननाश के नरसिंह देव भगवान की, भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की, ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। What your name? Huh? सुष्मिना माता जी की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। So I'm going to call somebody randomly next week. सभी लोग प्रैक्टिस करो, घर में 7 दिन मिलते हैं आप लोगों से, ठीक है? अच्छे तरह से पढ़ लो, नरसिंह आरती हर दिन गाओ, हाँ? रेडी? एब्सेंट मत होना, घर पे आऊंगा मैं। हाँ? निताई निताई गौरा, हाँ निताई गौरांग बड़ा टॉपिक है, नेक्स्ट वीक बोलूंगा तो प्रसाद लेट हो जाएगा। निताई मीन्स नित्यानंदा, गौरांग मीन्स गौरांग महाप्रभु, कृष्णा एंड बलराम. They appeared as Nitai and Gaura in West Bengal 500 years back, and they have given the Hare Krishna mantra to all of us. So we sing Hare Krishna mantra with their mercy. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Pancha Tattva we call them. We'll discuss that one of the days. Yes, Hare Krishna. So please everybody have your breakfast prasadam nicely, and next week we'll meet on Saturday. Hare Krishna. And finish the remaining SSR. If you have not heard SSR, please go back and hear it. Go to SSR 2019 batch and hear all the 12 sessions. Okay? And if you want, you can hear 2018 batch also, 2017 batch also. There is 2022 batch also. The same SSR is continuing. So that it gives fundamental knowledge about Bhagavad Gita before we learn Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Hare Krishna, please. बच्चे पापड़ी मत खाओ, थोड़ा खिचड़ी भी खाओ। मैं तेरे से बोल रहा हूँ।